Hello and welcome to Sana's JavaScript Mastermind. We'll be starting Express.js. Basically, I thought of starting Node.js with Express.js because that is what we'll be working on most. Node.js is kind of contains a lot of fundamentals that we'll be going through. But let's start with some coding with Express.js. So I'll just share my screen and then we can talk more about it. Okay. So basically, Express.js is built on top of Node.js. So it uses basically Node.js on the background. So whatever will be working in Express.js, the same can be done in Node.js as well. But it will be a lengthy code. That is the reason we are using always a library. Like JavaScript is a language, but React.js is a library. Okay. Anyway, so to start working with Node.js environment, I'll just do a simple Node.js environment setup. Just create a folder called Node.js tutorial or anything that you like. Okay. I just created Node.js because I'm having other languages where I create videos out of it. I teach React, JavaScript, and everything. Okay. Anyway, see React is also there here. So create a Node.js tutorial or Node.js basically, and then let me open the view terminal. Okay. So in the terminal, I have to move to Node.js. Uh, so I have to cd into Node.js. Okay. Okay. Now, for you, just open the terminal and then you will be there in that particular folder. Okay. The first step that you have to do is npm init. npm init, what it will do, it will create a package.json file. And while creating the package.json, it will ask for these fields: name, version, main, scripts, author, and everything. Just click on enter in Windows, in Mac, written, right? Click on enter key so that it will be default values. These all values will be filled default. Okay. But if you want to enter some value, so why this is needed? Because if you push into GitHub, there will be a record of in the initial commit or in the GitHub repository. This will be the a record of it, right? What is the version of this software, or what is the name of this application? What are the different? So this is will help you in future. So if you want to keep a record of it, you can do it. Okay. Okay. The next thing that you have to install is NodeMon. Okay. What is NodeMon? NodeMon is just a kind of an tool, npm tool that is used to running the application. Okay. Why it is need for running the application? I'll just show you. You can just run the application using node app.js. I'm having app.js file. So if I want to run whatever the content that is there in this JavaScript file, if you want to execute it in the node environment, then I have to write here node app.js. So it will execute in the node environment, whatever is there. Okay. It will start executing. But what will happen after executing? It will stop. So again, you have to do some, again you have to do some changes, and again you have to start it, right? Now there is nothing, I think nothing is there in app.js, so it is not starting. So I just wrote something. Okay, I'll explain what I have written. But since there is nothing, so it is not doing anything, right? But after executing whatever is done in app.js, it will stop. Then again you have to write. So to avoid that, you have to use something called nodemon. Nodemon, what it will do is that it will do the same thing. It will also run node app.js, but you don't have to type node app.js every time. Once you start nodemon, it will monitor any changes. Like it is like a test environment. So in if you are using Angular in Angular Karma tester is there, right? And in React, if you are using RTL, there is a jest is there, right? Jest is there. Huh? So jest is a test runner. Similarly, Karma is a test runner. So what these guys will do is that it will detect for changes. If there is any changes, it will rerun it in the unit test environment. In the dev environment also same thing. The in the dev environment webpack is there, so that will kind of is a running of the application, right? We don't have to rerun the application after the it is done. Because in the higher environment, production environment, staging environment, okay, customer facing environments, there we don't have to manually start the server every time, right? So that's the reason we are having these tools to keep the application running. Okay. So for installing nodemon, what to do? Similar npm install dash dash save dash dev, then nodemon. I've already installed, so I'll not install it. So you have to write like this. Why save and dev is there? Because we need nodemon to run in the dev environment. It's a developer dependency. I think we don't need the dev. I think it will be okay if we write. Uh, I think I wrote dev. but I don't think it's needed. Is it needed in dev? Anyway, so I think it will be going to production because there also you have to be running, right? So no need to write it dev. I wrote it dev, so it came in dev dependency. You write that dash just step or simply like npm install node1, simple. It will install node1. Okay. After installing node1, what you have to do is you have to add this script to start your application. Like we have to kind of start the application using node app.js, right? So similarly, I have to write here node1 app.js I've written in the start script. So now I have to write, just you have to use this command, right? To use this command, you have to write npm run start or npm start, simple. If I write npm start, node1 will start. So basically it will see this command and it will see what do you want when you type this command is node1 app.js. So it will start node1 app.js. Okay, so I should have taught this in when I'll be teaching Node.js, but this is the first lecture of Node.js itself, starting through Express.js. So I'm just taking, you see, starting Node app.js. Now it is looking for any change that you have done in your application. If I do any change in the app.js, it will detect it and it will rerun it. No need for us to type Node app.js every time when you do some changes. Okay, now there are some nodes that I've made. We don't need this. Through which we'll start Express.js. Okay, so let me go through it so that we can start it. Where I've written HTTP headers, HTTP basics, okay, Express. Okay, there are others nodes I have made that is there as part of Node.js that we'll be covering it later. But let's start from Express.js so that we have to do hands-on more, right? Node.js is mostly concept, but Express.js is mostly hands-on. Okay, so that's why I thought of starting with Express.js. Okay, now so what is this HTTP request response cycle? Basically, what happens is that what is the request response cycle? What is HTTP hypertext transfer protocol? Okay, these are basically protocol to transfer data between two computers or two systems. Okay, there is HTTP, there is STCP, there is FCP, there is so many kind of protocols are there. So many protocols are list of rules basically. These are the list of rules in which you can transfer the data. Like so, TCP, STTP, HTTPS. HTTPS is the secure environment. Okay, so in production, everything is HTTPS. Customer facing everything is HTTPS. And for every connection, the port will be different. For HTTP, the port is different. For HTTPS, the port is different. For TCP, port is different. For FCP, port is different. Okay, I've written here somewhere. Yeah, see, 80 for HTTP, 24 FTP, 20. These are the port numbers. So everything is different. Now, we'll not go deep there. So any request you are doing from the browser. So in the browser, I type amazon.in. Okay, so basically what I'm doing, I am just Amazon.in is just a name, but basically what I'm doing, I'm sending a request to the server of Amazon. Okay, maybe the server means it's just a computer which will be kind of having an IP address because every computer connected to the internet has an IP address, and there should be a port, and through that port we can connect. Any request will go through that port. Okay, amazon.in or amazon.com. Whenever I'm tapping in the browser, I am basically entering the I'll show it. Let me do Google. So okay, I've already opened amazon.in. Okay, now if I just inspect, you will see the initial call. When I refresh, you will see what will happen. I'll go to the network tab. My system is a little slow. If I just do a refresh, you will see that we are making it. Okay, internet went away because I think I'm starting this particular thing. I have to stop it. So whenever I start it, it is going away. Okay. So okay, anyway, it is not starting. Let me close and start again. Google Chrome. Okay, so what I was telling is if I just do amazon.in, basically I'm sending a request to the, see, it started, right? So it's not able to handle the load. Okay, so it's not able to handle the load, I think. Okay, do I have ads? I can show it in ads also, not a problem. Right now I will open inspect element first, and then I will do it so that we will see it. I go to the network. I will type here Amazon dot. Okay, so let's see. So this is the network tab. Now you see it is making calls, right? Basically, what it is doing, it is sending a request to whom? Let me scroll up. So there are a lot of requests that is there because there are a lot of content. So some request, I mean, is for HTML content, for images, for styles, and all those things, right? Okay. So these are the different requests that it went. If we are sending a request, when you suppose I'll just open the suggestions one, okay? So when you are sending a request, if you go to the header, you see that you are sending a request to this particular, this is the request URL, okay? That is from the browser, from this Edge browser to the server. And if you see here, remote address, now this is interesting. You see, this is the remote address, right? This is what I was telling. Remote address means, so if I'm, kind of requesting at this site, okay, which means that I'm trying to connect to this remote address. So the remote address of that computer of the server is 18.161.216.113 with the port as 443. 443 is the port number of HTTPS. So if you see it is HTTPS, right? See, here it is HTTPS, here also HTTPS. If this would have been HTTP, it would have been a different. I think HTTP is 40, sorry, 80 or 40. Between 1024 are fixed port address. After 1024, you can, for your local environment, you can choose 3000, 5000, 8000, doesn't matter. Okay. We will not go too deep right now, but I will just trying to show you what is remote address. So this is the remote address. Okay. What are all these things? I'll tell you. Okay. So where I was, I think here, right? Okay. So browser will send a request and server will give a response. Okay. So here what we did, we sent a request to the browser. So initially, whenever I'm typing Amazon.it, I'm sending the request to the from the browser to the server that I want the files, that is the landing page. I want all the details. I want all these images. I want all the styles. I want all this content and everything. That request I'm sending first. So the server will understand the request and send the uh, data back. Okay, that is what is happening in a request response cycle. That is what we call request response cycle. Okay, browser to server. Now browser request and server response. Simple, nothing difficult here. Okay. Now the HTTP messages also in the request, what will be there? So in the request there will be method, and there will be the URL, there will be the headers. Headers are nothing but metadata or information, and there will be a body where you are sending some data in the payload. Okay, if I'm typing mobile phone under 10,000, that means that is the in the body the request will go that okay, mobile phone range less than 10,000. Some information will go. So based on that, the data will be changing. Okay, so I'll be showing you this. So in the request, whenever, so now this is a normal API request. The first request will be always be a get call. Okay, the different type of requests are get, post, put, and delete. Get is for getting all the data. Okay, post is to just to create a new record, or you are maybe are filling some form, you are submitting the form, so that is a post call. But if already is something existing and you want to update it, suppose you entered in the form some value, but you want to update the name or address or something, in that case that will be a put call. Okay, and delete is where you want to delete it here. Now here in this context in Amazon.in, if you are trying to, if you are buying something, okay, you clicked on buy button. So which means that it collects all the form data. That means your name, your address, and everything, and it is sending it to the. It is making an API call, and it is sending all this data. That is the payload. It will be going in the body. I will tell you, show you what is the body, and then that is a post call. Okay, because you are sending something to the server, right? But if something is there in your cart, but you want to update it, in that case, you want to update the address. So you just write a different address and click on submit. In that case, the address already existing, but the address you are changing, and so it will be a put call. Okay, I'll tell you about the calls and everything. But right now, what I want to show you is in every call there will be a request URL. So this is the request that you are sending from the browser, Edge browser here. This is the request URL. Why this URL is needed? Because these are the different endpoint, that is suggestions is an endpoint. So this is, so in every URL, so if you see this is the protocol, okay, and this is the domain. So inside that there will be port, okay, this is domain and this is the endpoint. Maybe the endpoint is still here. This is the endpoint, or maybe this might be the endpoint. Okay, this is the construction of a URL basically. So the request method is head. Head means it's kind of get only, but it's an overall thing. Okay, and the status code is 204. So anything 200, 204, 200 to 300, I think is a success call. So basically, the status code is a success. That means this API call has happened successfully, and the remote address to which address you are asking. That means which website you are asking is this particular server, and this is the port. Okay. After you send the request, the response comes as access control allows credit. There are a lot of different headers are there. Response headers means just information related to the particular how the server can handle the request is information. See, these are response headers. Response header means how the server is handling this particular request that you have sent. Okay. So there are different some user defined. These are X is written, right? These are all user defined headers. So you can create your own headers also. Okay, we'll discuss everything about it. The request headers is the request header that you are sending, that you are telling the server, okay, you have to handle this particular request in this manner. So this is the path, this is the accept all, gzipping it, this is the cookie. Okay, origin Amazon.in, because from here we are starting. Okay, these are the different information. So I'll not go deep into that. So basically what we understood is that in the request, there would be a method, that is get call, get, post, put, delete, head, and all those things. There will be URL. A URL will have a protocol, will have a domain, and will be having an endpoint. And then the headers are just information from the request. There will be some request headers, from the response also some response headers will be there. And the body, if you want to send the data from the through the API call, if you are sending some data, like I said that cart related information, how many number, quantity, size, what is the name of the your name of the product, how many products are there, what is the address is there. These are all information that you want to pass to the server, to send to the server in the form of an API call, right? That will be part of the body. I'll tell you, I'll show you what is the body. Okay, after send the request, you get the basically the response. Okay, so the response, I showed you the response. The response method will be obviously the get or post, put, delete, whatever. Then there will be a status that I showed 200, 201, 203, 404, 500. All this we'll discuss later. These are the status will be there. Then there will be the response headers will be there, and the body. Yes. Now you have requested something. The server will understand the request, and the server will make a database query or whatever based on the request you have made, and it will send you back something, right? That something can be HTML, can be text, can be JSON, can be styles, can be something, some library, some anything you have requested. If you are authenticated, or if you are if the server feels that it can send you back something, it will send you that whatever you have requested. Okay. The different methods are get, post, put, and delete. Like I said, get is for getting all the data, post is for creating a new record in the database, put is updating the already existing data, and delete is deleting the data. Okay. Now the browser does the default get call to get the resources. Yes, the browser, the first call is always a get call to get the, because if there is no data and if there is no view or no UI in the browser, then what you can do, right? How will you talk to the how the browser will talk to the server? So always whenever you are typing Amazon.in, basically the first call happens, and the first call will get all the HTML, CSS, and everything, so that the screen will be formed, okay, in the browser. That is something called I'm forgetting the name, hydration. Yes, that is called hydration. So styles, images, JavaScript, the first call gives back the HTML to load the website in the browser. Okay, simple. This is all simple thing. I think the video is getting longer, but this is the basic information that I want to give. In the next video, I think we can start with the HTTP basics, so that we'll write some code. Okay. Yeah. So I'll stop sharing. Now that was about the information related to the, that was the information related to the Express. So in the next video, we'll be starting and doing some code. Okay.